You want to get pumped up. You want to get psyched for the day ahead. You want to get energized to make great things happen. But I tell you what, if the media's got anything to say about it, good luck. This coronavirus thing has got everyone panicked. Panicked. What are you doing about it? You cowering under your sheets? Yeah. You thinking about, hey, how am I going to make it through the month, through the next quarter? Where's the economy going? I mean, look at these headlines, right? If you have any doubt about how hard it is, right, to keep a positive mindset, you got to control what you can control, and that's this. Because if you're looking for positive messages out there, you got to hunt. You got to hunt for that, because let me tell you something. That's not the narrative that's being pushed to the public. You want to get ready for the big win? How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that when every message coming your way is negative? You got to battle the doomsayers, the pessimists, the doom merchants, the scaremongers. Listen to these headlines. Here's what we're talking about. Look at this. 150 million Americans could get infected. Fauci, system failing. Dow plunges 10% amid coronavirus fears for its worst day since the 1987 market crash. CDC, worst case scenario, 1.7 million deaths. I mean, you hear this kind of stuff, and no wonder. Yeah, I'm out there on the trains in New York City, and I'll tell you what, there's no one out there. It looks like a ghost town, right? And so, what are you going to do about it? Right? Are you going to wallow in this stuff? Is this going to be your narrative? Let me tell you right now, I'm pumped. I'm pumped because in downturns and bad economic times and panics, that's when fortunes are made. Hell, I've been through this will be the fourth panic that I've been through in my life. Okay? Number one, you got the Black Monday crash of the late 90s, which is when I was first starting to hit the workforce. I was too stupid to know it was a panic, that there was blood in the streets, right? I was just getting started. I was in my third year of university, and I was working part-time. I was working selling health club memberships. That was my first sales job. That's where I first learned how to sell. And, I couldn't believe it, because I was looking at my paycheck after a summer of 3 months, 3-month break of working, selling health club memberships. And I don't know, how old was I at the time? Maybe 21. I'm looking at this and I'm like, I did the math and I was thinking to myself, if I worked the whole year, this equates to like a $58,000 a year income. $58,000 a year, late 80s, first job really. And my entire family's household income at the time was $8,000. I've mentioned before, my family was on welfare, food stamps. I had no idea what it was to have any real money. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, $58,000, my family's making $8,000. What the hell am I going to school and finishing up a degree in English literature for? What the hell am I going to do with that? What am I going to do? Right? A degree in English lit. Man, but meanwhile around me, apparently, as I came to learn, there was a panic going on. There were people jumping out of windows on Wall Street. Fortunes were being absolutely wiped out. Panic, recession, possible depression. Did I know? No. They say naivete is bliss. All I knew was I wanted to be a success story, and I'm getting these big commission checks, and I'm like, life is great. What's your mindset? What can you control? But if, again, I wasn't reading the newspapers and looking at this Black Monday nonsense. Black Monday. The stock market crashes. Wow. Oh my God. What's next? What are we going to do? Time to panic. What was the next disaster I went through? I was full into my career at that point. 9/11. We had 9/11. World came to a standstill. You talk about doom. You talk about scary times. It looked like the great American superpower and the prosperity that this nation was built on was threatened. I remember that. We had no idea what was coming next. I should read the headlines, in the weeks after that. You talk about all the stock market closed, businesses closed, airlines shut down, nothing moving, nothing happening, no business. Me? Let me tell you what I was doing. I was selling, and I was pivoting out of another career. I had been $1 million producer in the recruitment industry as a headhunter, very successful. Coming off the dot-com boom of 2000, right, just ended in 2000, I was making a fortune, an absolute fortune. It was amazing. And then dot-com bubble bursts, more blood in the streets, and then literally on the heels of that, 9/11 happens. I pivoted. I got into media and advertising sales. Again, with big dreams, big ideas, wild-eyed success that I was envisioning for myself in this new field. But while all other industries are collapsing, I'm killing it. What was I selling? I was selling advertising space in defense industry, the military industrial complex industry focused media publications. Because after 9/11, even though for a while it was a disaster, what happened? The economy accelerated into overdrive, and we had the biggest military budgets and military spending that the nation had seen in a long time. And I mean in a long time. And I took off. My career in media took off. It was incredible, the run. But once again, the world's coming to an end. Oh my God, panic in the streets. What are we going to do? Competitors are getting shut down. People are prognosticating about, this is the end, and we're going to be in a depression. And I wasn't thinking that way. I was thinking about where's my next success story? Because look, bad times don't last. Bad times don't last, right? You can't control economies, but you think life stops? You think people stop needing things, stop wanting things, stop dreaming, right? That doesn't happen. And in times like that, people need, when they're getting hit with headlines like this, people need a success story. People need good vibes. People need good messages. They need, if you're in sales, they need positive-minded individuals to come to them with expertise to help them with their businesses. To help people, to help consumers get over the problems that they have with new solutions, to help businesses get over the devastation that they're feeling and the mindset that they have. This is your opportunity to energize the world if you're in sales. You should be out there doubling down, going after it. Again, here's the next crash. The financial collapse, the housing crisis of 2000 and 2008. 2007, 2008. Oh, you talk about end of the world. You talk about headlines. It didn't stop. It just went on and on and on. You talk about this infected the entire world, 2008. What a disaster that was. And again, we were literally talking about the world being on the razor's edge of collapsing into the abyss. At the last minute, the U.S. was bailing out bank after bank after bank, and foreign banks, $25 billion a pop, $50 billion a pop. We were literally this close to being burned down. I mean, if you read some of the articles I was reading at that time, you thought it was going to be like Mad Max and Road Warrior, all rolled into one. Thunderdome, right? 2 men go in, only 1 comes out. I say bring it on. What do you do in times like that? Once again, you pivot. What was I doing at the time? Selling advertising space, right? Selling advertising in digital media as that was taking off. Why? Because print was dying, so we had already pivoted. But now, print was collapsing, the market was collapsing. I was pivoting at that time into events. And what do? You look for opportunities, because whenever there's a problem, it's like a two-sided coin. There's an opportunity. You have to look for it. You have to be open to it. What was the opportunity? Hey, listen, at the time, a few things were happening. I remember we were going out there doing events, and my tagline was, going out there doing projects in Asia. We were going into Brazil, where economies were booming. And I remember what I was telling my sales team. I remember a headline from The Economist. Right, what was the headline? It was, while Europe drops, Asia shops. And so we were doing projects in Asia. We went into Brazil. We were doing events in Brazil. We were doing events in Saudi Arabia. And you know what? We started to boom, and I took off into an events industry boom. And once again, I was killing it. And now we have the coronavirus. Could be a problem for the events industry, right? Because that's the industry I'm still in. No one's getting together. Events are getting canceled left and right. You name it. South by Southwest canceled. Sports canceled. The NBA canceled. The NHL canceled, right? Concerts, Pearl Jam, everything canceled. All my clients are canceling their face-to-face meetings. That's okay. We're going virtual. You think business is going to stop because of the coronavirus? Listen, there's going to be a panic, like there's always going to be a panic. But let me give you a couple of quotes here, all right, to set your mind right. Okay, let's look at a couple of quotes that I pulled out. If I can find it. Well, look, here it is. Okay. So, Baron Rothschild, the scion of the Rothschild family, one of the richest families in the world. Baron Rothschild, who began the fortune in banking, said this, right? The time to buy is when there's blood in the streets, even if that blood is your own, right? And this is a guy who made his fortune buying in the panic that followed the Battle of Waterloo against Napoleon, right? Everyone else was running for cover. This guy was buying. Warren Buffett, he says it, a bit more kind of neutral, right? He says it a bit, in a bit less brutal style. Warren Buffett says, be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Let me tell you something. I get excited when times are hard, when times are tough, when there's panics and when people are freaking out. Why? Because I've been through this before, over and over again. And you know what the great thing about this kind of hard times and doom and gloom, you know what the light, the sunshine, and the amazing thing about all this is? It weeds out the competitors, because the competitors, there are so many competitors out there. In your industry, in my industry, there are so many competitors that can only compete when times are good. They jump in to the trend and they ride the wave. And they're only successful because they're in good times, when anyone can be successful. But when times get tough, they pack their bags and they go home. That's it. They're done. Let me tell you something. This is how are you going to pivot? I'm in the events business. I know that for now, things are on hold, but I know the third and fourth quarter of this year is going to be an absolute boom like you wouldn't believe, right? This coronavirus is going to work itself out, right? It's going to die out. And then, with all the economic stimulus we're having right now, interest rates zero, $50 billion in loans announced to small businesses to help them through. Are you kidding me? Oil at $31 a barrel. Are you kidding me? 31. In 2007, right before that economic crash, oil was 150. 150, but it's $31 a barrel now. Do you know how much money that floods into the economy? People are buying gas. The average gallon of gas, I saw the other day, was it like $2.15 for a gallon of gas? Are you kidding me? You know how many people that work blue-collar jobs that have a median income, or forget about that. How about minimum wage jobs? You know how much gas costs when oil prices are high versus what you make in a minimum wage job? If you work a minimum wage job and you're driving a car, you just got a massive pay increase because gas is so cheap, so you're spending a lot less. You add all of this up together and all the stimulus that's coming, the Fed just pumped $1 trillion into the market. Let me tell you right now what's going to happen. All of this liquidity sloshing around and more stimulus is coming. When this coronavirus spirals out, Q3 and Q4 is going to be an absolute blowout. In fact, you know what you'll have to be concerned about? 2021 with an overheated economy, right? That economy is going to be overheating because right now everyone is contracting a bit, but in Q3, Q4, we are going to take off. So what are you doing between now and then? Have you got your battle plan ready? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm pivoting. My team, we've got our plan. We're pivoting. We're making some moves right now, right? We're getting armed up for a huge win, and we're going out there with a new message. We're going out there with a unique message. And I'm telling you right now, I'm already getting responses to it. Because the money never sleeps. Business never stops. Are you? Let me tell you something. Hard times don't last. Hard people do. Okay? So, and you know what? Even if it was the end of the world, which it ain't, which it is not, right? But even if it was, you know what I'd do? Hell, if it was the end of the world, I get my hot rod 1967 Chevy, right? I tune that bad boy up. I get my family, I get my dog, I grow a mohawk, and I would roam the wasteland like Mad Max, right? Listen, I ain't stopping, I ain't giving up, all right? In the words of Russell Crowe in Gladiator, all right? This is it, right here, okay? Even if it was the end of the world, even if it was, what's your mindset? Come on! You're going to make your life no matter how weird and crazy and bad times get. There are always going to be winners. There are always going to be successful people. In the words of Russell Crowe in Gladiator, 3 weeks from now, I will be harvesting my crops. I'm thinking Q3, Q4, right? 3 weeks from now, I will be harvesting my crops. Imagine where you will be, and it will be so. Hold the line. Stay with me. If you find yourself alone, riding in green fields with the sun on your face, do not be troubled. For you are in Elysium, and you're already dead. Right? How bad can it get? Come on. And as he finishes up, brothers, what we do in life echoes in eternity. Remember that. What we do in this life echoes in eternity. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'll tell you what. Hold the effing line.